Hi, my name is Corey Lanack. I am the market manager for 3Men Movers in Dallas. I've been working here a few years. I've been in the customer service industry for about 13 years, managed everything from properties to stores to warehouses, and I'm happy to be working here with 3Men Movers, expanding into Dallas. We will help you pack. If we were just going to move, then the idea would be that you are packed and ready to move. We're definitely focused on quality services and giving a quality service. For just a move, it helps the movers work more efficiently when everything is packed up in boxes. It helps reduce any potential damages that can occur during the service. Being packed, packing well, and having everything prepped for the crew is going to save money on your end in the end and allow the movers to move more efficiently and safely. Our packing crews will pack an entire house. If you just hire a packing crew and say, pack the house, they will pack the house. They'll pack in a way that will get it from point A to point B safely. That's the goal. Your kitchen items, things are going to go in a box. Things are going to be wrapped in newspaper print, so that like pots, pans, glasses don't cling together in the boxes. It'll reduce any kind of breakage. Something is oddly shaped. Generally, they use their expertise in the packing of the truck. Let's say you have a really oddly shaped lamp. They're gonna make sure it is supported in the truck. Usually they'll pack the lamp shade because that's the most sensitive part of the lamp. And then they will just make sure it's between items and around items where it can't move when the truck is moving. So they're gonna do whatever they can to get from point A to point B with everything safe. The most common things that we will not pack are foods that can spoil. Your refrigerator generally should be empty. A lot of like gardening stuffs like large pots and items like that. Those types of items generally need to be crated in specialty boxes, which the packing crews do not have. You have a large ceramic pot that's like 150 pounds. Plants, in general. Brittle items that are like art statues. I've seen like movers move harps. I've seen movers move strange and large statues and pieces of artwork, but the mover will have to determine if the item can be moved without being crated and survive the trip. That's kind of like the criteria they're looking for. TV packaging, I think, is one of the most underrated things in the world. Your TV came across the ocean and arrived in the United States, and the whole time it was in a piece of foam that's perfectly formed to fit that piece of equipment. That's how it should move, because that's the way it survives the trip. You move it any other way and you're risking something. Your packing crew is going to have a generalized idea of what should be packed in certain ways. Everyone has a budget. We have a budget at our office. You have a budget, everyone has a budget. If you want to make sure you're staying within budget, things you want to define for the movers are things that are highly sensitive, need to be packed really well, things that are less sensitive. The movers don't make assumptions based on maybe the materials they're made out of. Like a set of wood bowls might be to the mover seem like, oh, they're just wood, they could be packed together. To you, they might be, when I visited Malaysia, there were those fancy bowls I bought in the marketplace. Those should have been wrapped. You don't know as the mover that was a specialized item. So I would say the preparation you should do is just kind of go through your house and kind of catalog things that need special interest from the mover. This is important because of X, that's important because of Y. This comes off in two pieces. Like I said, if you just leave our movers to do what they need to do, they're gonna wrap everything as if it's a specialty item. If you wanted to purchase your own materials for them, you're welcome to. They will use whatever you have on hand. But generally the process for us is we call. It's not uncommon for people to be in the position where they have all the materials expecting to pack for themselves and life gets in the way. And then you're like, I need someone to pack it. So we show up on jobs all the time. However, the crew leader always calls and asks, what are you packing? How much stuff do you have? And they will bring extra materials just in case. You wanted to have a completely hands-off service, you could have your packers also unpacking. And what unpacking does is you say, go pack my house and unpack me. You now have a pack, a move, and an unpack, and the packers will basically, based on what they saw in your house prior and to your direction, will unpack everything, put everything up in your cupboards, and actually take away all your trash for you. So you can have a completely full service where your cupboards and drawers are full, your bathrooms are stocked, like everything is put away, and basically you're like pretty much ready to just start living again. Most people don't need the unpack, but we do consider it a separate service because not all crews are packing crews. Don't pack too heavy. It's very easy to get a box that's way too heavy. So you have a large box, you don't want to pack your books into a large box. You want to use small book boxes, and that applies for anything that has a high weight to volume ratio. So if you have glassware gets heavy really quickly. Probably step number 2 is proper labeling as fragile, non-fragile, because that's going to be how the truck is layered. You're going to have fragile on the top, non-fragile underneath. And then packing, probably tip number 3 is don't underpack your boxes, because your biggest danger is going to be, let's say you have a box that's non-fragile items but underpacked at the bottom, and then you have fragile items on top. It crushes the box underneath because there's nothing in there. Logistically, how far is the truck from your front door? Same thing with elevators. I think the biggest misnomer with elevators is people think that elevators make the move go faster. It's not true at all. Elevators allow movers to move with less chance of any kind of damage because you're just sitting in, it's very stationary. It doesn't make the move faster. Even like your average 4-bedroom house, even if you don't have like an overly stuffed house, you don't have a lot of stuff. Even if you're a minimalist with 4 bedrooms, I wouldn't recommend trying to get it all done in one day on a 4-bedroom home. 4 bedrooms, I generally recommend packing on one day and move on the next day. If you have a 1-bedroom apartment, pack and move. We'll get you done same day, not a problem. The only thing that's predictable in your service generally is the drive time. That's generally the only thing we can predict with some level of certainty. Glassware and breakable items you should pack first because they are the most time consuming. Because you're gonna be wrapping everything and making sure that they're packed nicely, and they're gonna take up more time if you're packing yourself. Closets, if you have a couple good wardrobe boxes, your kitchen is probably gonna eat up the most of your time. So if I was packing for a move in a few days, I would start with the kitchen because it takes way more time than you would ever expect. Your clothes you need for tomorrow, the food you need for tomorrow, anything that you're gonna need tomorrow, pack it last. Most packing gets done with small and medium boxes. Home Depot even sells like moving packs, they call them. I think Walmart even does. We don't connect things to the walls. We won't mount your stuff, we won't connect your stuff, we won't plug in your stuff. We'll put it where it needs to be, but we're not going to do that service because washers and dryers are generally the same. Generally, electrical ones. Then you get gas ones sometimes that are like really weird and the hookups are strange. I can't tell you how many times that the movers have arrived at an apartment and the connections inside the apartment, the knobs and stuff are like in disrepair and are breaking off themselves. And the mover doesn't want to be responsible for turning something and it breaks and it floods, and that's not their fault. In fact, the interesting thing is knowing this, when I moved into my apartment, I luckily didn't have an issue, but I put my washer in and there's a little knob to turn on the water behind the washer. I just did it by hand. I reached back there, everything's connected, and I turned it and it just broke off.